Alright, so in this video we're going to be talking about solving cubic equations. So cubic equations have x cubed terms, or lower, and 1, 2, 3 solutions. And we can solve these cubic equations by putting them in the form f of x equals 0, and either graphing or factoring f of x. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about graphing. So if we graph f of x, it's gonna look either like this, where it crosses once, one solution, or this, where it crosses and touches, that's 2 solutions, or something like this, where it crosses 3 times, 3 solutions. Okay, so now let's talk about factoring f of x. So our techniques for factoring, we could use GCF, or factor by grouping, difference of cubes, etc. Once we factor, we're going to have one of these 3 options. We'll either have something that looks like this, where we have a quadratic that's unfactorable, prime quadratic times a linear factor. And this is going to have one solution. The quadratic's not going to produce any solutions, but the x minus a will produce one solution. So this is a one solution situation. We could also have the cubic factor like this and have a repeated factor and one non-repeated. This is the 2 solution situation. Or we could have the cubic factor completely like this with 3 different factors, and that would be a 3 solution situation. All right, so let's look at an example. So let's solve the following cubic equation: 4x cubed plus 45 equals 20x squared plus 9x. And we'll solve by factoring, and then we'll also check our work with graph. So first thing we need to do is move all the terms to one side. So let's move the 20x squared over and the 9x over. Then let's rearrange a little bit. So put it with decreasing order like this. Now let's factor by grouping. So we'll pull the 4x squared out of the first 2 terms and be left with x minus 5, and then the negative 9 out of the next 2 terms and also be left with x minus 5. Then factoring again, we get x minus 5 times 4x squared minus 9. The 4x squared minus 9 is a difference of squares, so we can write that as 2x minus 3, 2x plus 3. And now we have completely factored this cubic, and we have 3 zeros. With 3 zeros, we have 2x minus 3 equals 0, so x equals 3 over 2. We have 2x plus 3 equals 0, which gives us x equals negative 3 over 2. And we have x minus 5 equals 0, which gives us x equals 5. So those are our 3 solutions. And we can check these solutions by graphing. So if we go back to this equation up here and define the left-hand side to be f of x, and if we graph this function, we'll see that it's going to cross at 5, 1.5, and negative 1.5. So it looks something like that. And again, we can get these same solutions by graphing it. All right, I hope you found this video useful.